My name is Ava Martinez, 40 years old. My husband Owen is a 42-year-old truck driver. We both remarried, each with kids from previous relationships. Married life has been filled with its challenges. Funerals are over in the blink of an eye, aren't they? After being together for 10 years, it's hard to believe how quickly we have to say goodbye. My mom really took good care of her. Most people couldn't do that. Despite her physical limitations, she was sharp-tongued. But I guess I'm going to miss Grandma's loud voice. When we took Grandma in, Mila was 5 and John was just 2. Juggling childcare and caregiving was really tough. Then, I noticed something was off with Owen when he came home late. After 10 years of caregiving, you must be exhausted. I want a divorce because my mistress is pregnant. What? Are you out of your mind? What are you talking about? I'll take John with me. No way. Because I love John. Please, I just can't do this anymore. Let's get a divorce. Well, if we're splitting up, you should take Mila too. And you know I'm pregnant with twins, right? You'll need to take them and raise them too. If we're divorcing, you should prepare about $2 million for the kids' education until college and so on. It's going to cost about $600,000 per child for that education. What? In the end, Owen and I didn't get divorced. How we got to this point is quite the story. Both of you, try to relax. Owen might be quiet, but Ava, you're usually quite the talker. Of course, I'm nervous. When you said you wanted us to meet someone, I never imagined it would be for matchmaking. Owen works as a truck driver, you know. With night shifts, his life is pretty chaotic. Right now, my mom is helping out, but I still think John needs his mother. I had a 5-year-old, Mila, and Owen had a 2-year-old, John. We both had lost our partners in accidents, which was something we had in common. And our kids were still very young. Remarrying while the kids are young, they'll grow attached to the new partner. Owen, you haven't said a word. Can't you overcome your shyness? Come on. Ava, feel free to ask anything. Yet, Owen remained silent and looked down. This was the awkward atmosphere of our first meeting. It's great, isn't it? Mila and John got along so well immediately. Kids adapt so quickly. John's usually shy like me, but he's taken a liking to you today. Maybe it's a good match. But this clears up my biggest concern. Ava, would you consider dating me with marriage in mind? Given Owen's usual silence, I wanted to believe he mustered all his courage to say this. Mila needed a father, and I was struggling to juggle work, household chores, and parenting alone. I thought about relying on Owen. Don't worry too much. My mom's pretty easygoing. Deciding to marry, the day came to meet Owen's biggest challenge, his mother, Layla. Layla had raised Owen alone and was now looking after John. Mom, this is Ava Garcia. If you're going to remarry, Owen, why with kids? I won't accept you as my daughter-in-law, nor do I find your child endearing. It was rare to meet someone who expressed such dislike from the start. John and Mila are getting along great. John's taken a liking to Ava. He's been lonely since his mother passed away right after he was born. I'm happy Ava could be a mother to him. Who's a mother? You seduced my Owen and managed to get married, satisfied? You're only marrying him for his income, aren't you? It's obvious what you're up to. Despite not receiving Layla's blessing, Owen and I went ahead and got married. We didn't have a wedding, but we took photos together with Mila and John at a photo studio. What's up? It's rare for Owen to call at this hour. I got a call from the hospital. My mom's been taken there. What? Seems the neighbor noticed and called for help. But Owen, you're not home at this time, right? That's why I want you to go. I'll head there as soon as I finish work, but it'll probably be early morning by then. Unable to leave the kids behind, I carried Mila on my back and put John in the stroller to head to the hospital. Layla had collapsed from a brain tumor and was left with paralysis on her right side. I'm thinking of bringing Mom here to take care of her. She lives on the 5th floor of an apartment complex, so we'd have to move anyway to make living possible. But we're also living on the 3rd floor of an apartment without an elevator, and it's not wheelchair accessible either. I was hoping he would give up on the idea. We had only been married for 6 months. Both Mila and John were still so young and required a lot of care. And now caregiving on top of that. That's why we're moving to a wheelchair-accessible home. Actually, I went to see a place today and made a provisional contract.
What? Just like that? What about Mila's preschool? Does that mean she'll have to change schools?
Didn't you say kids adapt easily? Mila is outgoing and can make friends with anyone, right? She'll make new friends quickly even if she changes schools.
What about your job, Owen?
My job won't be affected. I drive all over the country anyway. I couldn't accept it. Living with, let alone caring for Layla. Hey, there's also the option of putting her in a care facility. I can't possibly handle both childcare and caregiving right now. It'll be fine. Mom has some speech impairment, remember? Just helping her out now and then, and assisting with changing is all she needs. Or do you not want to take care of my mom? She raised me by herself, even though she complained about her back pain, she still took care of John every day. If I'm going to do something for her, now's the time. Owen's blunt manner felt quite harsh. It seemed like not taking Layla in wasn't an option. Thanks to rehabilitation at the hospital, I can walk this far with a cane and talk this much. Though I use a wheelchair for moving around, I'm not done just yet. The doctors were amazed at your recovery. Well, now you can take it easy. You've had a tough life raising me alone and taking care of your grandkids. And so, the days of living with Layla and caregiving began. What are you doing, Ava? Didn't you hear me ask you to get the remote? Sorry. I just got back from dropping Mila and John off at daycare. The remote, right? I see you enjoy watching TV. Got a problem with that? It's not like I have anything else to do. Would you like to go for a walk later? I can push the wheelchair. Mila and John just got off the daycare waiting list, so I'll have more time to take care of you now. I don't need your reluctant help. You're probably just wishing I'd die sooner, right? I can tell by your attitude. No matter how much I did, Layla would never appreciate it. Owen, seeing our family grow, took on more work than ever, leaving him hardly any time at home. I wondered why we got married in the first place. I'm sorry, Layla. John has a fever, so I'm taking him to the hospital. If you need anything, now's the time. John has a fever? Can't you even manage your kid's health? Poor thing. They don't need a mother like you. After a long wait at the hospital, we were told it was just a cold. They said he'd recover with some rest at home. But with Mila and Layla's weakened immune systems, I was nervous about them catching it. The thought of these days continuing forever made me shudder. I couldn't get tomorrow off work. What? We're going to the field day at John's elementary school. I told you about it a long time ago. I'm sorry. We're short-staffed right now. It's just not possible to take a day off during the week. Ava, you do realize that you're able to live comfortably because Owen is working hard, right? That you and your child can eat, that you have a home, it's all thanks to Owen. Don't sweat the small stuff. She never truly accepted Mila and me. Owen never once attended Mila and John's sports day or parent-teacher meetings. Just yesterday, it feels like John started elementary school and now he's graduating. Time flies, huh? Huh? Did you say something? I had noticed something was off with Owen lately. I was talking about the kids growing up. Mila is graduating middle school and starting high school, and John is becoming a middle schooler. Neither Mila nor John has gone through a rebellious phase. They've turned out to be such good kids. Now that they're more independent, I've been thinking about taking Mom on a trip. I heard from someone at work that there are services where a nurse can accompany us. Why does Owen become so dedicated when it comes to Layla and not John? The next day brought an emergency my way.
You're kidding!
I was shocked too. After 10 years of nothing, to be pregnant. And with twins, no less. Owen looked visibly troubled. Ava, you're 40 this year, right? It's going to be tough. Being a senior citizen by the time your kids are adults isn't ideal. I'm going to have this baby. It's a life we've been blessed with. Just as Mila and John don't need us as much, we're given this baby. The cost though. I'll never forget his last remark. That day, I finally got to meet Chloe, who played Cupid for Owen and me, after a long time. Ava's pregnant? That's unexpected. I thought you had given up on having more kids with Owen. But congratulations are in order. I'm not sure if I should be happy. Owen seemed really troubled. Men don't feel it the same way. Especially Owen, who hasn't been involved in raising kids for 10 years, might seem detached. But you're going ahead with the pregnancy, right? Recently, Owen's been acting strange. He only comes home about once a week. He says he's busy, but he's not a long-haul trucker, and he sometimes goes out on his days off. And he even takes John with him sometimes. Don't you think that's odd? Maybe they want some father-son time? But suddenly? He's never shown much interest in John before, and now taking him out? Owen was supposed to be equally warm to both Mila and John. He never favored one over the other or compared them. However, he left most of the parenting to me, hardly spending any time with the kids. Are you thinking he might be cheating? No way, not Owen. He's not exactly the smooth talker, nor is he bursting with energy. Oh sorry, I've known Owen for a long time. But realistically, he's not earning a fortune, and he's a 42-year-old guy. He doesn't have the traits that typically attract others. But he's hiding something. I can't bring a child into this world feeling so insecure. I know I introduced you too, but you might think you drew the short straw. Not at all, I've never thought that. Sure, I got stuck with all the childcare and caregiving. It's disappointing not to hear words of gratitude or comfort. But I knew what kind of person he was when I married him, so I can't really complain now. Got it, leave it to me. I'll do some digging myself. I know some of Owen's coworkers and drinking buddies. What if she finds proof of infidelity? What should I do if faced with the reality? About 3 weeks later, Chloe called me, excited.
Women's intuition is incredible. Bingo! You said Owen only comes home once a week, right? He has another house for his mistress.
I overreacted to the word mistress. We were whispering because we didn't know when Layla might wake up and need to go to the bathroom. Mila is already 15, a sensitive age. She probably doesn't want to hear anything about the love life of Owen, whom she has looked up to as her father.
Moreover, this mistress, she's quite younger. Where they met or how they became involved is still unclear, but it's certain he had a mistress.
Chloe has a bit of a mean streak. She lights up and leans in when talking about someone else's affair or mistress. Maybe it doesn't click for her since she's single.
Their relationship started about 3 months ago. According to another truck driver, he was asking for more work because his mistress got pregnant.
That's because I'm pregnant, right?
No, it seems different.
It looks like his mistress is the one who's pregnant. Having a wife and a mistress pregnant at the same time? Total two-timer. We found out because there was a drinking party at Owen's company. Owen was so drunk, he mentioned calling his wife, but the person who came to pick him up was his mistress. She drove there, apparently. She looked to be in her 20s, a beautiful woman. I've never even met Owen's coworkers. If he has a mistress, why would he take John with him? Is he introducing John to his mistress? Turns out, the mistress has 2 kids of her own. Just like when Owen introduced you to Mila, she came with her children. Despite Owen's unpolished and clumsy nature, kids seem to like him. Mila is quite fond of Owen, right? Recently, Owen and Mila used to go shopping together often. He may not show his affection openly, but maybe she intuits he's not a bad person. This is just my speculation. It's harsh for Ava, but I wonder if Owen intends to marry his mistress? Chloe is blunt with her thoughts, not sugarcoating them. And here I am, not the strongest mentally. Maybe he's laying the groundwork now. And he's planning to take John with him if he gets divorced?
Take John? That's ridiculous. I've raised John with care. How could I let him be taken away now? John sees me as his real mother. He always writes me letters for Mother's Day and my birthday. Am I supposed to lose him to a woman he's just started seeing? It's amazing you've built such a bond. This is all I could find out, but this is definitely infidelity. Ava, you might need to brace yourself. I've been doing Layla's caregiving for 10 years. She might be a beautiful mistress, but will she do the caregiving? I've been juggling childcare and caregiving without even a little time to do my makeup. If she thinks she can stay beautiful and handle caregiving, I'd like to see her try.
My anger was at its peak. I couldn't forgive such betrayal. Ava, are you planning to get a divorce?
I want to, after hearing all this. But I can't get a divorce.
Do you still love Owen? It's not quite that. I'm worried about how to raise the twins once they're born without Owen's income. Then why not divorce him and get child support? That's impossible. He has 2 stepchildren and now a pregnant mistress, right? Owen's salary won't stretch to cover child support for us. But you should stand your ground. The legitimate children should be prioritized. While having this conversation, there was a loud noise from Layla's room. I ended the call with Chloe and rushed to Layla. I didn't make it in time. Owen was kneeling in the hospital's morgue. Despite my repeated calls, there was no response. It wasn't until the next afternoon that Owen finally arrived at the hospital. The funeral director wants to meet with us. They're waiting.
What funeral director? Mom's dead. How can you be so calm? You must be relieved that Mom's gone, right? You were always cold to her. You made food she couldn't eat on purpose, trying to make her die sooner, didn't you?
What? What are you talking about?
I made soft and easy-to-eat food because your mother had trouble swallowing. You're in no position to criticize me about caregiving, Owen. I've been earning money. You don't have to work because of me. How am I supposed to work while taking care of children and doing caregiving? Mila and John are independent now. You could find some work from home or something.
Hearing such language and mindset, I was totally disappointed. I disappeared from the scene. And after finishing Layla's funeral, Owen told me, "Thanks for the 10 years of caregiving. I'm divorcing you because my mistress is pregnant." If we're divorcing, prepare a total of $2 million for the children's education, I retorted. You waited until Mom died. You didn't want to marry your mistress earlier because she'd have to take care of Mom, right? She couldn't handle it. You've been avoiding and ignoring the struggles I faced with caregiving and childcare, pushing everything onto me while you live comfortably with your mistress? How dare you underestimate me? I feel sorry for Mom, being cared for reluctantly. She didn't choose to become disabled. I've taken care of Mila, we got along well on the surface. You hear about step-parents abusing their stepchildren, but I've sincerely engaged with Mila. I even went to the city and bought her clothes when she wanted them. Normally, stepfathers don't do this much. Our accumulated feelings over 10 years were overflowing. But neither me nor Owen could stop. Let me say this today.
And now twins? It feels like you planned this. There are days when conception is more likely, right? You're trying to tie me down with pregnancy? It's unbelievable after 10 years of not conceiving.
I swear, it wasn't planned. The timing of this pregnancy is too risky for me. Bring this mistress here. Her name is Nora, isn't it? If Owen plans to marry her, I deserve a greeting. I'd like to see how lovey-dovey you two are. Owen probably felt he had no way back. He contacted Nora without hesitation. Nora was indeed a young and beautiful woman. I heard she had 2 boys, aged 8 and 5.
What do you want? I'm having severe morning sickness and can't talk for long. Is the child in your stomach really Owen's? What? What are you talking about? Of course it is. Your belly is quite noticeable, isn't it? About 8 months pregnant? But that doesn't add up, does it? I was under the impression you started dating Owen just 3 months ago. It seems the baby is growing big inside. When I gave birth to my first son, he was nearly 5,000 g. He's the child with your previous husband, right? You separated 6 months ago and were already pregnant then? Where are you getting this information? Meeting Nora for the first time today, right? What do you know about Nora? Nora and I are bound by a strong bond.
When Owen defended Nora, I realized he was being deceived.
You're faking a divorce, right? Pretending to be divorced to find a patron for Nora. Her previous husband was quite in debt, right? To pay off that debt, Nora has been doing a kind of sugar dating, and Owen fell for it. What? Fell for it? Nora and I met purely and have nurtured our love purely. Nora was a nursing assistant at your mother's hospital, right? She was scouting there, targeting men in the caregiving generation with elderly parents. Is there pure love in such a situation? What can you know in just 3 months? Owen doesn't want to go home. He's always bad-mouthing his wife when he's with me. You should realize sooner that you're no longer seen as a woman as his wife, that your best before date has passed. And I'm not doing any sugar dating. After all, Owen doesn't have money, does he?
I've never seen Owen's paychecks. I only receive a fixed amount for groceries each month. The expenses for the children are supposed to be direct debited. Indeed, we were not a wealthy family.
Well, I don't want to say this right after your mother-in-law passed away, but you were just a caregiving tool. You faced your mother-in-law with disheveled hair, turning your household into a mess, right? Owen wouldn't want to be in such a place. The discord in the home is the wife's fault. You've been abandoned. What's Nora's aim? Do you seriously love Owen, who has no money? Who knows? If you divorce, I might consider marrying Owen. You've been taking John with you recently, right? What do you want by introducing John to Nora? John has been looking after my children. There's no one else to take care of them, so John was just right. He's kind and good at taking care of them, so my sons have quickly grown fond of him. It's been a big help. And is John okay with this? Who knows? They say use what you can, even if it's your parents.
Maybe it's time to play my last card.
Your plan with your previous husband was to get the insurance money from Owen's mother, right? I know everything. What? What are you talking about? Do you have proof? John recorded a conversation between you and your previous husband.
I made the recording public.
We don't know when Owen's mother will pass, but we should act now. Don't worry, Owen is head over heels for me, and easy to manipulate. From what I've heard, the death payout is $300,000. It won't last a lifetime, but we can live it up for a few years. In the meantime, we can find the next target. With my youth and beauty, is there a man I can't seduce? People like Owen, who've never been popular, I can seduce in seconds. Who would choose a 42-year-old man otherwise? It's like a punishment game, right? I'll pretend the child is Owen's and make him take responsibility. Once I get the money, he's of no use to me. That's enough, please stop.
Owen, seemingly devastated, managed to speak.
So this is your true intention, Nora. If it's out, so be it. Yes, my goal was your mother's insurance money. Did you really think I fell for you? If so, that's quite naive. Well, your wife is pregnant with twins, right? Maybe Owen should get along with his wife. Since we found out your mother didn't have insurance, you are of no use to me anymore. Bye-bye.
After Nora left, a tense silence flowed between Ava and Owen.
Is this how you treat someone who's been caregiving your mother for years?
Unable to hold back, I broke the silence.
She's your mother, isn't she? After all, a woman who approached you with the intention of getting your mother's insurance money was more important to you. Then give me back my 10 years. Give back the time I spent 24/7 caring for your mother. How could you even think of having an affair while I was taking care of your mother's most intimate needs? Even when my hands were dirty, you found the manicured mistress more attractive.
I'm sorry. I'll turn over a new leaf.
If I had the financial means, I'd choose divorce in a heartbeat. But with twins on the way and the impending chaos of parenting, not to mention earning an income on top of that, is impossible. I can't forgive your behavior this time, Owen, but for the children's sake, I have no choice but to endure. Once the twins have graduated college, then I'll consider leaving you. It's like a late-life divorce. So, you better work hard for at least the next 22 years. For you, being stuck with me is your punishment.
There's controversy over staying in a marriage for the sake of the children. But there are quite a lot of couples who can't divorce because of their kids. That's probably why late-life divorces, or divorces after death, are becoming more common.
Nora apparently had the baby. Looks like she got back with her ex-husband. You know, some couples are like that, breaking up and getting back together, like an on and off relationship. But I feel they'll split up again. Then Nora will be struggling with parenting alone, probably planning to lure in another man like Owen for money. I wonder how long she can keep that up. Nora can't stay young and beautiful forever. If it were me, I could never go back to a man I've once broken up with. Once I've taken a dislike to someone, no matter what happens, I can't start liking them again. Ava, your due date is coming up, right? But was this the right decision? What choice do I have? Realistically, it's impossible for me to raise twins and manage everything at home and work alone. Owen will have to work like a horse as atonement until the twins are grown.
Hey, for real, did Owen's mother leave nothing behind?
Actually, she did have insurance. And she had my name written as the beneficiary. What? But I thought you were disliked by your mother-in-law. How did that turn out? I never expected it either. It seems my mother-in-law had her way of showing gratitude to me. Your feelings reached her, huh? But maybe it was your mother-in-law's last gift, unable to be straightforward.
Indeed. Layla had made me the beneficiary of her insurance. I planned to keep it all to myself to use someday for the children. As for Owen, I'll eventually leave him, thoroughly.